Is the American dream dead or alive? What is the American dream, and can socioeconomic upward mobility still be achieved? What is the American dream, and can it still be achieved? This is an important question. Dan Sheeks, a personal finance expert, explains what he believes to be the American dream, in part influenced by his survey of students. His list of what constitutes the American dream includes the following: go to college, get a good job, get married and have two. 3 kids and a dog, buy the nicest house and car one can afford, retire at age 65, enjoy the good life, and leave your children a nice inheritance when you die. His definition is in stark contrast to the American dream as defined on Wikipedia, which describes the American dream as follows. The American dream is a national ethos of the United States, the set of ideals: democracy, rights, liberty, opportunity, and equality, in which freedom includes the opportunity for prosperity and success, as well as an upward social mobility for the family and children, achieved through hard work in a society with few barriers. In the definition of the American dream by James Truslow Adams in 1931, life should be better and richer and fuller for everyone, with opportunity for each according to ability or achievement, regardless of social class or circumstances of birth. To summarize, Sheeks' definition relates to education, working, having a nice house and car, getting married and having children, and perhaps leaving money to your heirs. In contrast, the more traditional definition, as described on Wikipedia, describes a situation whereby someone can break the barriers of class and cultural structure to achieve prosperity, success, and upward social mobility through hard work in a society with few barriers. The distinction between the two definitions is important. Why? Because Sheeks' definition is something that is not uniquely American. People in many countries around the globe, including most of Europe, most of Asia, and many parts of South America, can get an education, get a job, get married and have children, buy a house and car, and even leave something to their children. So, this is not really an American dream. It is a global dream, and this dream is coming true for many people across the globe. The Wikipedia definition includes something that in most other countries is not possible. The key element of the traditional definition is regardless of social class or circumstances of birth. That is the difference. That is why many immigrants came to America, particularly those who did not come as refugees or who were fleeing war or famine in their own countries. They came to America because they knew that in their own country, due to the country's class structure or because of their circumstances of birth, they would be stuck in low-wage, typically labor-intensive jobs like the ones held by their parents. Even worse, the prospects for their children were no better. Their children, too, would be stuck in low-wage, labor-intensive jobs. Many Americans who have lived their entire lives in the United States and who have either not traveled or have traveled very little have serious misconceptions about economic opportunity outside of the U.S. I find 2 common misconceptions. The first one is that countries outside the U.S., and perhaps a few Western European countries, are hellholes of backwardness and poverty with terrible standards of living. The second one is that other countries are just like the U.S., and that upward social mobility and building wealth are achievable in those countries, as they are in the U.S. The reality is both of those pictures are wrong. Most countries outside of the U.S. have big cosmopolitan cities, have middle and upper-class people who work, own homes and cars, send their kids to school, and some even accumulate wealth. Of course, this situation varies by country, but in general, in most countries, you will find what I have described to be the case. But what is also almost always universal outside of the U.S. is the inability of the people at the bottom levels of society to break through to the middle or even upper class in that society. Basically, whatever station in life you were born into is the station in life you will live in, and is the station in life your children will live in. There's a reason that millions of people risk all to illegally race across our borders, and there's a reason that millions of people are lined up waiting to move to the United States legally. For most of them, it is not because they live in hellholes, because they're in fear of their lives, or because they disagree with their country's culture. It is because their home country does not offer them the upward social mobility and the ability to build the wealth they seek, a key part of the American dream. Why does the United States provide for the American dream? It is because our socioeconomic system is founded on the principles of equality, individualism, freedom, liberty, and capitalism. It is the culmination of the evolution of Western civilization. How do we know this is the reason? Some people credit American prosperity with natural resources, building wealth on the backs of slaves, or stealing all from Native Americans. But if that were true, Brazil, Mexico, and Cuba would be as wealthy as the United States. Those countries are not as wealthy because they have different systems that do not support and encourage individual freedom and prosperity. The American dream is still very much alive, and it can be achieved. Immigrants to this country prove it every day of the week. I read an article in Yahoo Finance that talked about 15 billionaires who came from nothing. Forget about billionaires. Just check out the local businesses in your community. Car dealerships, plumbing contractors, auto repair shops, grocery stores, restaurants, and so many more of the local businesses you frequent every day were built by immigrants who did come here with nothing. They are living evidence that the American dream is alive and well. Our American system can best be described as the goose that lays the golden eggs. The question you must ask is, will it still be alive 10, 20, or 50 years from now? I don't have a crystal ball, but it certainly appears to me that the folks in Washington and Sacramento are hell-bent on killing it.